want to welcome you to our latest interview, and let me get my notes up here. And so I'm Mel Wild again, director of the Worship Ministries Resource Center with Don Bushnell Ministries. And our goal is really to help worship leaders and what we call creatives or songwriters discover community, develop skills, cultivate a vibrant presence-based worship culture that's bigger than any one church. I always like to say that. And so in light of this mission, I have a very special guest with me today, Micah Roraff, who is the worship pastor at Adoration Church in La Crosse. And this is where we are actually having our very first event, Don Bushnell Ministries event called Heart and Sound Workshop for worship leaders, teams, and songwriters. We'll talk more about that later, but welcome, Micah, and thanks for coming on. And
thank you, Mel. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you because, and I mentioned this before we started recording, what you guys are doing is really at the heart of what I feel like God is saying to us for I'll call it upper Midwest region, from Minneapolis. We actually go down to Cedar Rapids now, Iowa. But just this region of creating a sound. I like what Adam Humberg said. God is not creating a style, he's releasing a sound. I love that, what he said there. But and with you guys, what I see is you not only have a vibrant worship, presence-based worship team and ministry, but you're also releasing songs. And those songs really are what I'm talking about. It's I want to say the organic DNA of our region. What is God saying to the churches? What is God doing in our area? I mean, we hear all about Bethel and Elevation Worship and all that, and that's great. I love their songs. We sing their songs. But I'm actually more interested in what's God doing here? What's God doing with us? Because I think we have things that not only need to be said, God is speaking to us, but also that it's going to resonate with the people that go to our churches and encourage them and get back to that. We're part of something bigger than ourselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I do agree with what Adam said. God is releasing a sound in this region, and it will resonate with the hearts that are open to him. And that's why I'm here. So, and that's why I have you here. And so I wanted to ask you some questions, and then we'll talk a little bit about the heart and sound. And the first one is going to be about songwriting. You guys doing songwriting. And I noticed that your songs, and I really appreciate that you put them out on YouTube, and you look in the video description, and you even have the words and the chords so people can play them, and that's awesome. But I noticed that they're collaborative, and so maybe walk us through a little bit about how you guys write songs and what makes you decide to release them and that process, if you would.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. I mean, what we do is we have a few people that write songs at our church, and what they'll do is they'll just write the song themselves, and then every once in a while we'll bring I'll bring a chorus, and then somebody else will add a verse or add a bridge or something like that. I would say the majority of our songs are written by just a person, and then we bring them together and then just kind of like refine them. We just make sure the words flow together and make sure, we want to make sure things are biblically accurate too. And so we just make sure that there isn't anything that's weird in there. We don't want to have that in there.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you. I mean, I think it really is about just what is the Lord doing in our hearts, and what is the Lord doing in our church, and what is the Lord doing in our region and in our area, and to be able to speak to that. And because there are so many beautiful songs out there, and we do a lot of them. And I just really appreciate, just the treasure trove that we have to draw from with all the songs. But it's also, there's something special about having your own song and having a song that is like specific to your church or to your area, that really brings that sound of the Lord into the service and into just wherever you're ministering. And it's almost like that now word that the Lord is doing in that moment, And so as we hear songs, and I think we've written just many songs but really knowing, okay, Lord, is this one you want on a Sunday? You just really, you can feel the Lord's presence with it, and you just feel his favor with it. And then it allows you to just kind of like just release it. And then you just seeing people connecting with the song and all that. It really, it's really fun. And it's really cool, you know, because ultimately what you're there to do is just to agree with the Lord and what he's doing with the area and to declare it out, because it's like, that's how the world was created. That's how everything was created. That's how Jesus did his ministry, is through the word, the spoken word. And so as we are saying that, we're just believing that God is changing atmospheres and that God is doing something right now. It's not something that we're celebrating that happened years ago, like, thank you, Jesus, that you died on the cross. You know, when it's like he has died on the cross and he is alive today, you know, and he is ruling and reigning today. And so I think that is my heart behind writing. And when we have a song and as we collaborate it together, you know, we want to have that heart where we're saying, Lord, we want to declare what you're doing right now.
That's great. You know, I love the fact, I think you just put out, what was the song? Let the glory fill the temple, I think. Okay. And that's ancient. I mean, Psalm 15, Psalm 24. I mean, it's got the ancient, but it's a now word too. And it's a desire of our heart. You know, that's at the very heart of presence, we call presence-based worship is, Lord, we want to see your glory. We want, you know, you gave us your glory. You said that in John 17. And we want to experience that. We want to experience what you've given us, you know, and that's awesome. So when, you know, you said, you talked about this when deciding what is for a Sunday morning, what's for the congregation. So like, let's say you do a song like you have Let the Glory Fill the Temple, or How Sweet It Is, I think was another one you recently put out. And by the way, I'll put one of those songs at the end of this recording just so for people to hear.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're just so good. I love them. What happens do you feel like it takes a while for a congregation to respond to it? Do some like just, you think, oh, this is going to be a great song, and it just peters out and goes nowhere? And so what do? Do you discard it, rewrite it? I mean, what have you guys done? What's your processing on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's a really strong response, then we'll keep going with the song, you know, and we'll keep using it. I have written songs that I play it, and then it's just like, it's either like too complicated or it's just not jiving, and then I just won't do it again, you know, and that's totally fine. I mean, I think sometimes the Lord gives you a song and it's for the congregation, and sometimes the Lord gives you a song and it's, you know, just for yourself and for what you're walking through in that moment. And so I've always just tried to like have an open heart and just be like, all right, Lord, whatever you want to do with this song, I just want to be faithful with it because you have given it to me. And if it is a now thing for the congregation, it's really cool seeing people just raise their hands and really interact with the Lord through the song that has been written. And so, no, I just think it's really cool.
And I think you really touched on too complicated. Your songs are really basic, and I think that's important. I love some of the songs that are out, but first of all, your keys, probably your voice range is lower like mine. Some songs are so crazy high, they're actually in female vocal range. I mean, what some of the Brandon Lakes, he could go up into alto range, and they're almost I love the songs, but they're almost unsingable sometimes. You know, people are screeching trying to go with it, and I always lower them. I always lower the key to make it singable. But you know what you guys remind me of a little bit is Vineyard when they first came out. Like when I before I got saved, I was a professional musician playing in bands, and so I was, you know, I was spiritually pretty stupid, but I was awake. God, I just want to absorb you like a sponge. Yeah. And some of the songs that were out in the 70s they're to me so ditzy, and it's like I couldn't get, I like Keith Green. He was out, and I thought, oh man, this guy is good. But then Vineyard came out, and they, instead of just all piano, they had a guitar, you know, just a folk guitar. Anybody could sing any of their songs in any like home group. You don't have to go so high that no one else can sing it with you. They're not complicated, and those songs really resonated. And that's where I see your songs. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful songs, but they're not complicated, and they're songs I see people being able to sing in a home group. That I always picture that. Could someone pick up a guitar and just start singing that song? And it seems like a lot of your songs are that way, and I think that's important. That's part of what resonates. You know, we as, especially for me, I'm probably more of a musician than I am a singer, and I like complicated, geeky, technical stuff, and I can play it, but nobody else likes it. You know, it's like, maybe if you got it in your car playing, you know, but they like the simple stuff. I mean, you know, I'll play a couple songs that aren't real complicated, but they're newer songs, and then I do Amazing Grace, and everybody's roaring out the words, and just because they know it's 3 chords, you know, very simple. And I think that's an important point. We can make something sound creative without being too complicated, and that's really the trick there. Yeah, so good. Yeah. And so I like how you have one person, because that just kind of gets inspired. Oh, I was going to ask you about that. Do you have your songwriters, do they journal, or are they just, where does the inspiration generally come from in the beginning of it, the seed of a song? Does it come from, let me give you a couple of examples. Like if I'm in a daily journal, like I journal in the morning, sometimes I get inspiration from scripture. Sometimes it's in my personal worship time. I'm singing somebody else's song, and all of a sudden I feel like I need to go somewhere with that, and I end up with a chorus that ends up on Sunday morning. So what do you see happening, the germination of those songs?
I mean, I think it's different for every song. I mean, sometimes it's just like you're sitting down with a guitar or piano and it just comes out. Other times it's like you're working through lyrics. I'm bivocational, and so at my job, all of a sudden I'll have a chorus pop in my head, and I'll record it on my phone, you know, because I'm like, oh, I kind of like that, and then I'll take it home later and work with it and see if it's something, you know, or driving in your car, and all of a sudden you just hear a melody going through your head. I mean, I feel like there's so many different ways, and I've never wanted to like just put myself in a box and say this is how it needs to be done. Because I just feel like the Lord is so creative, and so there's so many different ways that he can inspire you, you know. And so I mean, it's been done multiple ways, you know.
That's a good point.
I think the key is just tapping into his presence, because I think I can write something in my flesh and I'm just not gonna. It's not going to be as fun. It's not going to be as good. Maybe it'll gratify the flesh for a little bit, but it's not going to glorify God. And I don't ever want to write anything that is not going to be glorifying God. And so, I just really feel like it's in his presence is like the main thing. That is the number one thing. And then that's the way that it gets written. And then the means, it could be sitting in your car, it could be at work, it could be sitting down, you know, just in a moment with God. It could sometimes it's like you're playing with people, and all of a sudden, like you said, you have that song of the Lord that just kind of comes out. And that's we have a song that we're hoping that we're going to be able to record it this summer. And that's how that song, the chorus for that song was written, was just in a time of, you know, just spontaneous worship. And I didn't think much of it, but then one of our piano player was like, "Oh, that's really good," and she wrote a chorus for it. And then we gave it to somebody else, and then they were like, "We need a bridge," and somebody just like started belting out a bridge, and we're like, so it was like, well, there you go, you know. So I mean,
there you got a song.
That was unique for that song, you know. And so I mean, like I said, every song is different, but I just really feel like the presence of the Lord is the main thing, because he inspires us, and he gives us life, and he gives us breath. And so anytime that I give something to him, I'm almost receiving it from him first, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. I've never tried to write a song, and that's where you're talking about not putting him in a box. The song that I did at Adoration Church, From Heaven. That literally was what you were just saying. I was in heaven. I was like having, worship time, and it was my heart's desire to take what I hear in heaven and bring it to the earth. And that's what I was trying to describe, and it's kind of frustrating in a way, but that song came out in about 10 minutes. And that's what you were saying. Sometimes you got to work at them and work at them and work at them, and they still don't work, and others just pop out. Like they're just like give birth to them, it feels like.
Yeah, it does. That's good.
That's really good. So let's move. I'm going to go mostly about recording and about songs, but I want to go into worship too, and like the idea of worship community. And so you guys have a really, like I said before, a vibrant worship team and different people that come in and go, and you have good singers and obviously good songwriters. So how would you describe your worship team as a community or a family or a culture, or however you want to explain it? Would you do, and part of that is, what do you do outside of Sunday morning or outside of practice, or if anything? So,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of, because you have a church, and everybody has different lives. And you're kind of like coming from different directions, and we're kind of spread all over the map of the area. It's been a desire of mine to do more with just kind of like getting together. But one thing that we are doing, starting is a text thread where if people have like a song that they hear and they just want to share with the group, if they have a prayer request, if they have just kind of like a scripture verse for the day, and just a way to, build community, but also just to encourage each other in the Lord. I think that that's something that we're really wanting to do. But yeah, I feel like the Lord has always just brought us people that love him and just see that on the stage, and we try to connect as much as we can in our busy lives. And so it's like having a lunch or something like that together, or, just different ways, it's like, it doesn't always have to be scheduled, but just be able to do a check-in on people and
just
see how
stay
they're
in
doing.
connection. I like the text thread.
Yeah. And that was,
because that's easy. It's
I wish
informal.
I could take credit for that, but that was our electric guitar player's idea, and which I thought was just a fantastic idea, because like I said, I think sometimes there's just that tension where you're just like, I wish we could connect more. And this is just a very practical way that people can connect and encourage each other, and just kind of like let their voice be heard about just different things, or get prayed for. Because we've got a lot of really, I love the team that he's given to us, and I just love the hearts that people have. They hear the Lord, and it's like you see the person who's talking in the microphone, but it's like our drummers and our piano players and our electric guitar and guitar players and bass players, and everybody across the board, even our sound techs, just love the Lord, And so I think we all have a desire and a passion to see the Lord. And so I think that's what really unites us. And
the text thread's a good way to start. I know what I've tried to do is my wife loves hospitality. That's one of her gifts. And we just invite the worship team and the sound team over to our house, once in a while, maybe once a quarter. We just have food and hang out and talk about worship and what we want to do. And but I like the text thread too. That's a good idea. Okay, so and one of the things I want to add here is that Adam Humberg at our Heart and Sound workshop that we're doing at your church, May 16th, he's going to be talking about worship community. So that's going to be an important one. And I think that every worship team, it does, and I know you guys have a lot of people. Sometimes I've only had 3 people on the worship team. It doesn't matter how big it is. You can create connection and encourage one another. And I just love that. And that's really the heart of being pastoral as a worship pastor.
Right.
So getting back to songwriting again. So let's talk a little bit about the technology without getting over technical, but just kind of a basic idea, because you guys, it seems like you record your songs live in your sanctuary. So And I've been to your sanctuary a few times, and it intrigues me that it's your sanctuary. You kind of set it up almost like a recording studio, in a sense.
Yeah.
So kind of talk a little bit about that, about what you're doing.
Yeah. So we have just like the regular soundboard in the back of the sanctuary, and that kind of runs a Sunday morning sound. So if you come on a Sunday morning, then you're going to hear that sound through the soundboard that's in the back. We have kind of a studio that's kind of above it, and it's enclosed. And so up there we have a separate sound system altogether. And up there, if you listen to our live stream, that's what gets through our live stream. But that's also what we use for recording. And so what we do is we just kind of like set it up, and we run everything through the soundboard that's in a studio upstairs. And we use Logic Pro, which is a really, really nice little thing that you can use to record. And I just remember, like, when I first started recording, I used GarageBand.
Everybody
it was it was fun to kind of tinker around with. And if I'm being honest, it's like Logic Pro is like a little bit above my pay grade, and so we get people that really know how to use that, and so it's nice to have people that know what they're doing with all that.
We have Logic Pro at our recording studio. Don Bushnell uses Logic Pro, and I'm learning it, but it's like you said, it's above my pay grade too. It's
but I mean, as far as the technology that we use that, and then it really just kind of like helps. And so when we're recording the song itself, we'll probably do like 1 or 2 or 3 practice takes just to kind of get down what we want for the flow of the song. And then we'll just take like a really do 1 or 2 takes to just kind of see what 1 or 2 takes just to kind of see what we want to do. And then kind of go up there, listen to it, and say, all right, let's tweak this, let's do that, And so we don't usually, because I know when most people, when they record, they'll like record instruments separately, and do things, and so we just record everything at once. And then like for these last songs that we had, the only issue that we had with recording was the drum set, because the drum mics were picking up all the stage noise. And then so what we did is we just had to re-record the drum set, and that was pretty much it. And so our poor drummer had to come back in. I was like, you did a good job, but you're going to have to do it one more time. And he's like, he's totally cool with it. And so it worked out really well.
I've been in recording studio where we did it separately. The different instruments came in, did it separate. I prefer live, though. I just really like the feel. Live is different because you've got those, like you said, you got those interactions, and you're dealing with interactions together. It's something about doing it together that's different than doing it separately. You can make it technically sound really good separately, but I'd almost prefer the imperfection of live over the perfection of doing it separately. Just it's got more, I don't know, more anointing on it. I don't know.
I agree. I like the authenticity, and you're in the moment, and so you're really able to kind of feel that. And I mean, people that are really good at recording can kind of, capture those moments and stuff. But I mean, I just feel like, as far as like where we're at and where we're recording, I just want it to be obedient to the Lord and what He's called us to do, and just be as authentic as possible. And it's like, you can just record something to death, and you can just be doing it over and over until it's like absolutely perfect. And but I think there's something cool about the authenticity, and you just it's really awesome,
and it's more organic, and it's not something AI is going to replace. I always tell people, try to write a song that AI can't write, and it's usually something organic. I really appreciated what David Helzer's done, where they would record in their house studio, and they would just let the tape, I call it the tape, they just let the recording run. And some of their extended albums are just where they just went on and just worshiped to the song. It was just free flow worship. I love that stuff. And it's not necessarily something for prime time as far as if you want to release it in a radio or something, but it's awesome to listen to and worship to. Well, that's awesome. And then you use how many cameras do you have? It seems like you have 2 or 3 cameras, maybe.
Well, when we did that, we took the recording, and then we had somebody come in and kind of record us playing the song. So we were,
Oh, okay.
we were lip syncing, but we do have multiple cameras
Yeah.
we use on a Sunday morning. But for the
Yeah, I
recording
thought so.
itself, we just had like maybe like 2 or 3 set cameras, and then he was
Yeah.
walking around with a camera. Because on a Sunday morning, we don't have anybody walking around the stage,
Right.
doing that kind of a thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, so the recording is organic, and you're just
yes,
doing
the video
is
is
organic recording.
Yeah, yeah,
That's good. That's good. Well, you did a good job, because it doesn't look like you're lip syncing.
Well, and we weren't. I mean, honestly, it was like we're worshiping, and he is just, so we're just worshiping with it. So it was, it was real.
The advantage of that, though, is that you don't have to worry about playing the right chords or anything. You can worship. You actually can focus all of your energy on worship. That's good.
Yep.
So another question, do you, and I always try to ask this in our interviews, do you have anything you'd like to say to worship leaders, especially young worship leaders? I was telling you before the recording, I've been in worship since the last millennium. I feel really old, probably 50 years. So you almost forget the things you go through when you're a young worship leader, or just a worship leader in a small church and they're struggling to put together a team, that kind of stuff. Anything you'd like to say about that, or word of encouragement?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like, it just goes back to what's your purpose of doing it, and if your purpose is to write songs and to make a name for yourself, then I honestly, I just think you're missing the mark, because it's all about the presence of God. And so keeping that just fresh, keep going into the presence of the Lord, because then it doesn't matter if you have like a Sunday where everything goes wrong, it just doesn't matter, because you're doing it for the Lord and you gave him your best, and it went sideways. But I feel like even sometimes when it's sideways, sometimes the Lord is able to come in, do an amazing work. I've seen it, I've seen it where there was one time that I screwed up the intro 5 times in a row, and it just got to the point where everybody was laughing, and it just brought such a freedom into the room. And I think people worship harder than they normally worship. Like, thank you, God, for using my humanity.
That's the fun of capos for guitar players. Using a capo and you starting wrong. You got a capo on the 4th fret, and it's supposed to be open tuning or something. And go, oops.
Well, that was my problem. It was supposed to be capo 3, and I capoed it 2, and I started the song, and then all of a sudden everybody came in and it was just sounding like mud. It was like, whoa. I realized it was,
that's a train wreck, right?
And then I just kind of got a little nervous, and I went capo. We messed up again, and then I just went capo 4, and I was just not thinking. And so I was like, praise the Lord. But it was, like I said, just keep it about his presence, because things happen in life, and you have good days and you have bad days, but when you keep going at that well of the Lord, it's a well that doesn't run dry. And he really, worshiping him and giving him everything is going to keep it fresh for you, no matter how long you do it. I mean, I've been doing it for, I can't even, like, almost 25, 30 years I've been doing it. And it's still, I just get so excited, coming into the presence of the Lord, because I just know I'm meeting with him, and it's going to be different every time. Even if I sing the same song, it's different every time I sing it, because he's there, and he's giving me a different revelation, a new revelation. And so, I mean, it's like, yes, practice and get good at what you're doing, and, hone the craft that the Lord has given, be faithful with what the Lord has given to you. But I mean, make sure that you're hanging on to him and letting his presence be the reason why you're doing it, and it'll stay fresh, and you'll just keep enjoying it, and you're going to have fun. And encountering him there's nothing like it. And I love it. I mean, when I lead worship, and it's like, I know it's a good service if I'm left a mess crying on the stage and can't even really lead this song anymore, And so I was like, because I can just feel his presence. And so, I mean, that I just want to go after that. And so that's my encouragement. That's like my main encouragement. It's like, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
Everything
so
else
good.
is going to come. You're going to get better. Don't like you said, Brandon Lake. It's like not
Yeah.
all of us can have the vocals of a Brandon Lake, or just
Yeah.
the skill of playing guitar like a
Yeah.
𝗔𝗍𝗄 from Delirious. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy can play really, really well or whatever. I mean, it's like
And they got a
have
40-person
those goals,
chorus
but
behind them and choir,
yeah, exactly.
They got 5 worship leaders and
Exactly.
4
And I mean,
guitars and 2
it's
keyboards.
good to have goals like that. It's
Yeah.
absolutely good to have goals like that. But if your main goal is the Lord, you're never going to miss. You're never going to, because
Yes.
he loves it when his people come before him and give him glory and give him
Yeah.
praise. And I mean, and honestly, that's supposed to be our life. Our life is for a life of worship. And so,
Yeah. I mean,
so it's
really,
just,
as a worship leader, we're worshiping to an audience of one, and we're
yes,
just inviting others to come along
absolutely.
with us.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and I think God, it's precious. I think it's absolutely precious to God, this worship leader who just loves him, like you said, just in his presence. And maybe it's just him and a guitar, or him and a keyboard in a congregation of 30 people or 20 people, and God just loves that. He cherishes that worship. And
Yeah.
I'm just so glad you said that, because that we often try to compare ourselves to other people, and God doesn't want us to do that. Just
No.
be in your lane, do what God told you to do, be faithful with what God told you to do, and do it with all your heart. That's all he asks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Let me
good.
just share a quick story, because I
Yeah.
don't know how much time we've got left here, but
Oh, go ahead.
there was a time when I was young, and we're at a Bible camp, and we were just it was like there was like a talent show that was there, and so we had some pretty decent talent that was there that was playing, and then all of a sudden this lady got up, and she had somebody playing a piano for her, and she was singing, and her voice was just, I mean, if I can be brutally honest, it was awful. It was so bad. And
Yeah.
so I was standing in the back with some of my friends, and I might get choked up saying this, but some of my friends started laughing, and I was
Yeah.
just like, there was something about, yeah, it sounded awful, but her heart was so pure before the Lord.
Yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
something so beautiful about it. And I think she captured the Lord's heart better than somebody that is like practiced everything and just done
Yeah.
everything perfectly, and it's just like, but it's only about themselves, and she
Yeah.
just did it for the Lord. And I was just like, that has stuck with me I
Yeah.
mean, that happened when I was a teenager, so that happened a long time ago, and that has just stuck with me. And I always want to have that heart. I always want to have that heart where I'm just like giving everything to the Lord, and not just when I'm on stage, but every moment of my life.
Yeah.
Just give it to the Lord,
That's
because
so good. Yeah.
he is so worthy. And so she has been, I don't even know her name. I've never seen her again in my
Yeah.
life, but she really, truly has been an inspiration for me,
Yeah.
because I
You know,
just saw
and
the
all
authenticity.
yeah, all heartfelt worship is pitch perfect in heaven.
Yeah,
And
exactly. That's beautiful.
it
Well
is.
said, Mel. Well said.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so good, because I think we tend to, being, especially if we can sing too,
Yeah.
it's we tend to get into the performance trap, and
Yeah.
instead of what you're saying, this heartfelt worship, that God honors that. He doesn't care about a performance. I mean, obviously skill helps.
It does. Absolutely.
We're to play skillfully before the Lord.
Yes.
However, worship doesn't require skill. It requires a heart. Heart is what it's all about, heart. And okay, one last thing before we go, because we have an event coming up, and it's at your church, at Adoration Church, and thank you so much for hosting it. We just really appreciate you guys. And that's coming up May 16th. And let me share my screen, because I want to help people. If you want to come and really encourage worship leaders, bring your team, invite your team to come. And then what we call creatives or songwriters. Maybe you're not a worship leader, but you're writing songs that are resonating with the church in some way. Please come, because I think you're going to really be blessed by this. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'll kind of go through it a little bit. Let it come up here. Hopefully you see that. And so this is On our group page on Facebook, and it'll be with this video too. There'll be a link at the bottom of the YouTube video, but you can go here to our Don Bushnell's Ministry page and it's called Heart and Sound, and of course it's at Adoration Church on May 16th, and our session leaders are going to be Adam Humberg. A lot of people know him. Adam was one of my interviews. He's in the Minneapolis area, and then Jonathan Lee McElhaney. He is a songwriter. He lived in the Nashville area, wrote songs, and you can read all about his profile here. But now he's in the Cedar Rapids area, leading worship at Radiant Church in Cedar Rapids, and he'll be doing the songwriting sessions. So just go to this website, and it'll explain each session, the why of songwriting, kind of what we talked about today, flowing in the momentum of the Spirit with Adam, and then. So it's going to start at 10. I think, what do I got here? Oh, there's questions down here it's free. And we do have a lunch provided. Chick-fil-A is providing the lunch. So if you like Chick-fil-A sandwiches, you get one of those for lunch. The reason that we're having lunch in-house is because we want to take this opportunity for worship teams, worship leaders, and different worship churches to connect together, to get to know each other. Because one of the goals of Don Bushnell Ministries, and in particular my Worship Ministry Resource Center, is to connect worship leaders together, to connect the churches together in some way. Kind of what you were talking about, Micah, with your text, staying connection. I would like to have some form of connection with the churches in the upper Midwest region. And so this is our first endeavor to do that. And so it is free. It's completely free, but you do need to sign up. And so you click on here, and then this would explain more about it's May 16th, starts at 9 o'clock. The sessions, I think, here. Registration opens at 9. We're going to have an evening worship. They'll go from 5 to 6. The sessions end around 4:30, and then from 5 to 6 we'll be done around 6, unless you know how that goes with worship. It could go a little longer. And then, but you would just but we want to encourage everybody to sign up. You do need to register, even though it's free, and just click RSVP and just fill out the information. Dietary restrictions, if you're bringing a guest, and that will help us know who's coming and plan for how much food we need and all the other stuff. So I'm hoping people can come. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. Encourage other churches, like Mike, you talked to other worship leaders. Encourage, maybe you know some other worship leaders or teams that you would like them to know about it and to come if you can. I know not everybody can come. We'll do some more of these in the future, but we got one coming up May 16th, and it's going to be really good. And just looking forward to it, Mike. Do you have anything you wanted to say before we end about that, or anything we talked about?
First off, thank you so much for having me on. This has been a blast. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think that this art and sound thing is going to be awesome. I think it's just good for people that are worship leaders and in the worship area to just kind of like see other people that have been around and to just have that connection and that community. And so I really hope that everybody that can make it, because I think it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, try to make it if you can.
Yeah.
We try to make it as centrally located to the churches we've been connecting with as possible. There are hotels in La Crosse right now. They're very expensive. We just booked some hotel rooms. I don't know what's going on in La Crosse right now, but your hotels are expensive. Probably school related.
I'll talk to somebody about that. I'll get that taken care of. No.
Yeah, get that taken care of. Yeah, the powers that be. Tell them we need cheap hotels. But anyway, no, you can easily, if you're within driving distance, come down and go back, because we'll be done at 6. And I know a lot of worship leaders need to get back for church, so we try to end as early as possible on Saturday. And then from here, we want to find out from you, how would you like to connect? So we'll be asking those kind of questions, and I'll hopefully see you all there. So anyway, thank you, Micah. That'll be the end of their interview for now. Hopefully people are watching this are encouraged by what they're hearing, and especially worship leaders who may feel isolated or feel like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Just know that God is with you. I remember one time I was really discouraged as a young pastor, and my supervisor, he just said, I just want you to know, Mel, God is with you. And there's something about those simple words. I go, really? He is? I just felt like, oh, okay. Then I can go another day, you know. And that's true. God is with you and he's for you. So be encouraged, and hopefully you can come together and get encouraged at the Heart and Sound workshop. And I hope you enjoy the worship song we'll put on here from Adoration. Mm-hmm. And I really encourage you to follow Adoration Church Facebook page, because they have a lot of encouraging things on there. Give you ideas, inspirations, and all that. So again, thank you, Micah. And
Thanks,
I'll stay on after we're done here, but we'll close for now.
Strong and lift up your heads,